Thank you, everybody. And company, coming right up.
I've lived in Athens, Georgia since 1985. I have played music in Athens, Georgia since 1986, and I've had a day job for almost the whole time. I work at the State Botanical Garden of Georgia. I am the Director of Facility and Visitor Services, which is kind of a broad label that applies to gift shop, coffee shop, tours, volunteer programs, concert series, building maintenance, and rentals.
I work at the place called the Center for Geospatial Research, and I was associate director of that for a long time. Now I'm just a senior guy. Most of the time when I work, if I'm in the field, I'm flying the drone, and then if I'm in the office, I'm processing the data. Coastal resilience stuff and cultural landscapes and marshes and sandbars and erosion studies, and I made a 3D model of a collard garden the other day. Yeah, it was awesome. It was great.
We met over the years. We kind of were aware of each other because we kind of had both been active in playing and having day jobs, but we never really met, except one time where we played a show and said, "Hey, I'm Tommy. Hey, I'm William," until my son Ben aged out of Cub Scouts and was looking for a Boy Scout troop, and there was no immediate path or apparent troop to join. So a mutual friend said, "You should check out Troop 1111, Tommy Jordan's troop. They're kind of different." So he and I started just taking guitars on these campouts, and while the kids are off playing flashlight tag or building a raft, we're just sitting around playing guitars.
You know, the first time we played together, we had a lot of fun. But we both jammed a lot with a lot of people, and we were both very skilled at jamming and playing with people we didn't know and had never played with before. The first thing you do is you find some common ground, and that's not hard. And but what we did find was that it was a lot more fun than usual, and that I was blown away by his guitar playing, and he apparently really liked mine too. And so what happens is that it's not a competitive thing, but when you have two good guitar players, they make each other better. It's not a challenge and it's not competition. It's just the limits aren't there. You're not playing down. It's the lowest common. Sometimes when you're jamming, you have to play kind of to the lowest common denominator, or one of the medium kind of common denominator. But with William, the common denominator is a really high level.
We realized we liked each other's styles and we liked each other's personalities and we liked the same kind of material. So after a couple of years of that, said, well, let's play in a club and see if anybody will come see us. So we did. And enough people came to see us that we came back. Along the way we realized, hey, Tommy plays banjo. What's a banjo sound like when you combine it with a dobro? A dobro is a guitar. It's a resonophonic guitar, which means it basically is a guitar with a metal speaker built into it. They were developed in the late 1920s as a way to try to make a guitar more amplified. Back then there was no electric guitar, so you're competing with pianos and horns and drum sets and things that are naturally loud, all acoustically. So two Czechoslovakian brothers, the Dopera brothers, Emil and John, I think it was John, came up with this system where it's basically an inverted metal speaker stuck under a protective cone, but it makes the guitar push sound much more effectively. And they called it a dobro as a kind of a hyphenation of their name, Dopera Brothers, Do-Bro. It kind of got popular and then it disappeared when the electric guitar started appearing, but by then it migrated to Hawaii where it kind of got picked up by all the people that had been playing what they call slack key guitar in Hawaii, which started in the late 1800s, which was playing lap style, but with a slide, but not with a dobro. But then when the dobros made it to Hawaii, the Hawaiian musicians said, this is better because we're louder. And then there was a World's Fair in California where the Hawaiian Exposition came over with all these dobros and slide guitars, and it started kind of a nationwide craze. And the Hawaiian musicians got to tour the country playing shows, but it really caught on in the Southeast for people that said, oh, well, that's kind of a cool sound. And that's how it kind of got adopted by the bluegrass traditional music scene. It got semi-popular in the 40s and 50s when people like Eric Clapton was a teenager and he was buying records. So it became something that the British blues guys kind of started bringing back. And maybe Jimmy Page, John Fogerty from Creedence Clearwater Revival used a dobro some. Anyway, it just kind of started easing into the rock and roll world. And that's where it kind of caught my ear.
If he sings lead on a song, then I play the guitar. I play lead guitar. If I sing the lead, then he plays the lead guitar part, plays the solo part. And then it's the job of the other person to fill in as much space as possible, because with only two instruments, you need to make it full. You know, what we feel like we want to do is make as much music as we can with just two instruments and two voices. But then we also give each other freedom. If one is, we don't always play exactly the same. We never play the same solos that we always play, and we don't always play the same backup part either. We just play what sounds good.
So to really make it in the music business, you have to have everything going for you. You've got to have the players, you've got to have the songs, you've got to have the personal chemistry within the band, you've got to have a relationship with an audience where it's kind of almost a communal thing. You've got to have management, you've got to have legal representation, you've got to have merchandising, and it's got to be the right band at the right time. It's got to be that perfect storm of everything falling into place. And I was never at a place where everything all fell into place. So at least with Tommy, we started for the right reasons, and it's kind of, it wasn't a career move. If anything happens, that's great, but that wasn't kind of the motivation. So it was kind of a nice reminder. It's like, oh, you got to have that fun factor before all the other factors kind of. That's the one you can't manufacture. You can find a good merchandise manager, you can find a good lawyer, but you can't make chemistry happen.
Test a little vocal for me. I'm going to put a little reverb in it.
A little reverb is never the wrong thing to do.
I think so.
1, 2, 3, check a
Magic.
little bit of reverb is
Magic
never
pixie
wrong.
dust.
That's beautiful.
We like some reverb all night long.
There you go. All right.
That's a good pour.
Whiskey take one. Mr. Jordan, Mr. Tonks, Miss Jordan.
Mr.
I'm proud to be a part of this.
You fit right in. You got the right name. Ready yet?
I think so.
2, 3, 4. Once I lived a life of a millionaire, spending my money I just didn't care. Carried my friends out for a good time, buying bootleg liquor, champagne and wine. Then I
began to fall so low. Didn't have a friend and no place to go. If I ever get my hand on $1 again,